Lethin Wrestling Show. That was a delayed reaction. It totally messed it up because it just said we're live now.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna start this again. We're just gonna go like this. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome everyone to the All Lethin Wrestling Show. We got a fun episode today. Without further ado, Commissioner Joe, what do we have on the show today?
Today we have news, a joke, and based on the topic in our banner, we're going to rip the fans a new one. All that and more on today's episode
of the All Lethin Wrestling Show. Welcome, my name is Canada Dry. I am the patron saint of professional wrestling. I am that gingered up, bubbly son of a bitch. I'm Canada F and Dry, and I'd like to give a shout out to my good friend, Bad Take Kate. The guy's got the worst takes. Have you heard some of his takes before?
Oh, of course. How could you not have heard? They're legendary.
Legendary. Introduce yourself.
And I am the Commissioner Joe of AFW Prediction League, the EVP of everything AFW. How are we doing today, Canada Dry?
I'm good. Now, did you eat a lot of candy this week?
Surprisingly, no. I've tried to limit myself.
Now, I say there's one day a year that you're allowed to just go bonkers on candy. And that's Halloween.
That's a good rule to have.
Like one day a year, Halloween, free for all on as much candy as you want.
I'm sure some people do, but even still, I don't like getting the upset stomach, anything like that.
Now, I don't care if you're like 400 pounds or you're 200 pounds or you're 100 pounds, whatever. Like if you're skinny, that's the one day. And I firmly believe this, that you're allowed as much candy as you want.
I think we should make that a new rule. Why not?
Yeah.
So it is.
We got Roman, in your son Roman. He's wanted to be part of the show. Before the show, he goes, "What about me? What about Roman?"
Yep. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, we were talking about needing a new bumper or a new intro with outro. Me in it, and my son was like, "What about me? Why can't I be in it?"
Well, you're not on the show, Roman.
No.
We got Noob. We got Matt B in the audience. It's like a studio audience, right? we got Elvis. He's wanting us to acknowledge him. We got Tiffany. What's up? You went to Collision last night.
Yes, I did. Me and my son, we went to. It was a birthday present for him, but it's also because I wanted to go. So we went. We sat literally. If you are looking at the ramp, we were literally in front of the heel tunnel. Like there was nothing between us and the heel tunnel, like seats wise.
What else did they show on that? Did they just show the Collision, or did they show something else?
Well, they taped a couple ROH episodes before, and then they did Collision, and then we left because I was tired because I had an hour and a half drive home.
Were they going to do something else?
They did more ROH matches after Collision.
Yeah. I think that's typical for a collision event.
I don't know if it is anymore because they've started filming ROH weekly somewhere else, but they said they were doing it tonight because Philly is the birthplace of ROH. So,
Now, how far are you from Philly?
about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic.
Because aren't you? Where you live?
I live
In
in
Baltimore,
Maryland.
right?
No, I live. So Baltimore is more center of Maryland. I live literally like in the upper right hand corner of Maryland.
So on the closer to Philly.
Yeah, closer to Philly. I'm about 45 minutes away. I'm
But you don't
literally
like Philly stuff.
no. Well, I used to root for the Flyers. I don't really pay attention to hockey anymore because I could never root for the Washington Capitals. But yeah, like I'm like literally like halfway between Philly and Baltimore. It's like the same amount either way.
All right. Without further ado, let's get to something we call the news.
From the four corners of the globe, from our studios to your home, this is FNN, the FN News Network, starring Canada Dry and the JFB.
It should be the AFW News Network, right?
Yeah, I think that needs to be changed.
AFW News Network. Those are overlords of the AFW Network. They like a specific sort of branding. Yes,
yeah, a very focused branding.
Did you get that FTR shirt last night?
No, I've had this shirt for a while.
Okay. Did you find that the pricing at these events for the merch is pretty high?
It has increased since the last time I went. Like last time you could get shirts for like $25-$30. Last night they were anywhere from $40 to $70.
Yeah.
Like prices have gone up. I mean, good on them. People, the lines were ridiculous and through the roof. So
there you go.
If people are going to pay for it, they're going to pay for it.
All right. So what do we got in the?
They did have the replica titles there. You could get the tag titles for $625 and the world title for $800.
Yeah, that's
bit out of my price range.
Yeah, that's
okay. You ready to get on with the news?
Yeah, let's get on the news because I can't imagine spending $800 on a world title thing.
Okay, so we're gonna start off. We'll start off with some happy news. For those that don't know, Mandy Rose and her fiance Tino Sabatelli, they got married over the weekend. So congratulations.
So this thing with Otis wasn't legit?
No, kayfabe.
No. I was hoping for those, and also there's all those guys in their basements who had hopes of being with Mandy. They're crushed right now.
Hopefully, this means that anyone who thinks they're talking to Mandy, you know you're not, because there's been enough of that scam stuff going around with wrestling people. So
we had one guy with Liv. No, sorry, not Liv Morgan, but Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. What is it? Basically, all of his life savings and his kids.
Like $1 million.
Yeah, like his life savings and his kids' college fund got scammed out of it. Like
grandkids.
Everyone watching, I know you like to feel special thinking wrestlers are talking to you, but they're not. Especially on the internet. It's not how it works. They're not going to, I promise.
Yes, they're not going to inbox you.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's something to really watch for is especially they don't have that I guess even now on Twitter, like the blue check mark doesn't mean much.
Nope, not at all.
So you can buy that.
Okay. Our next item. Your favorite wrestler, Goldberg, has announced that he already has handpicked his final opponent and he will be retiring in 2025 in the WWE. So who do you think it is?
Gunther.
I think that makes the most sense for him to just get demolished by Gunther. Maybe like after the Rumble, like February, when they don't have much going on.
Now, did you see Nick Namath's comment on this?
Yes, I did. That's hilarious. Because he's
He
been
did.
buried enough by Goldberg. I'm sure
Yeah,
he's
so
happy to see him go.
So he gives Gunther the spear, the jackknife piled. What's it? What's jackknife?
Jackhammer.
Jackhammer, yeah. And then pins him. Kicks out one, and then ends up being a 3-minute squash match after that with Gunther. And then we never see him again. Nick Namath is not a fan of Goldberg.
Nope, not at all. Yeah. Well, you got to remember that when Goldberg made one of his comebacks, he was Dolph Ziggler at the time. He was the one who was just getting completely destroyed by him. So.
But is that why? Or is there something else going on?
I don't know. Maybe there is something else going on. Sorry, that was my dog.
What? I figure it wasn't your cat.
Yeah.
So what else? What do you think that Goldberg's going to win this match?
If it's Gunther, no. If it's someone else, he might. But there's no reason why he's retiring, why he should beat the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, like.
You know what? I just thought of a better. You know when he should have his retirement match? It should be the first match on Netflix. First Raw on Netflix. Gunther Goldberg. Just get it over and done with.
Main event?
Yeah, why not?
So you don't want it part of like a pay-per-view or
No,
PLE?
Absolutely not. No. What about you? You want a part of a PLE?
Not really, but I have a feeling it will be.
Oh, I hope not.
It will be. It won't be a Raw.
Okay.
It will be.
I don't know. Triple H only does 5 matches on a PLE, so you never know. Okay, up next. For those that watched AEW in the early days, Marco Stunt, part of Jurassic Express, he is retiring from in-ring competition to focus on like running stuff, I guess, in GCW, I think is what he said. And because just to save his body, because he's tiny and he gets ragdolled around by all the big boys.
Oh, he gets punished.
He was a modern day Spike Dudley, is what he was.
Yeah, and that's cool that he's got a job in professional wrestling.
Yeah,
and like he could be a manager.
Yeah, in GCW, I think he could do that.
He could be a manager. Like he could eventually climb up to AEW, WWE. Like if he's a good manager and could get the
he could come back and manage Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your son says. Well, first Noob says it's Gunther. Obviously, just jackhammer, spear Gunther, and that's done.
No, because Gunther should not be losing to Goldberg.
No. And there's no WrestleMania.
No, I don't. No, not at all.
Ryback will be his last attempt to beat. No Ryback. The Ryback train has sailed a long time ago.
Yeah, Ryback talks way too much trash on Triple H, I think, to ever get a match in WWE ever again.
No, and like the fans aren't fond of him. But do we really care what all the fans think? Like, if you can have him, like, he's obviously got to come back as a villain.
I don't know.
I don't see him getting cheers as a face.
I think it all depends on who he's facing, honestly. I really do. Because he still has that nostalgia pop factor. It may be one of those everyone cheers and realize, oh no, we're supposed to boo. You'll just hear the switch flip after like
because he gets like all of a sudden everyone's yelling "Feed me more" because they're like, "Oh, we never thought we'd get it right."
Yeah,
feed me more,
and then it'll be like boo. So yeah, it's probably what will happen. Or I hope not at all. I hope Ryback doesn't step foot in the ring.
Well, okay. I don't see why he wouldn't go to TNA. He could do a lot, like even Japan. I think he could do a lot of good work for them in New Japan too.
Possibly, as long as he doesn't have that attitude of I'm a WWE guy, I'm not going to lose to anybody that certain people are rumored to have. So up next, I got 2 not so good things and 2 good things.
So before you go, Matt B has a question, and you're an ex-Marine. How do you survive in the woods? What'd you say, former?
Former Marine.
So not an ex-Marine, a former Marine.
Yes. It depends on what kind of woods you're in. Honestly, if there's running water, always follow it south because it'll usually lead you to civilization. Don't wait until the sun goes down to build a fire, to build shelter if you're out for a couple days. Because once the sun drops, it gets dark and it gets cold usually. So
how long? Obviously, like you want to get some water, right?
Yeah. So at least like you may want to start like an hour or 2 before the sun goes down, build a nice fire so you can boil your water before you drink it because you don't want to get sick. That's important. Boil your water, disinfect it.
All right, we got Jay Pagliaro, the voice of CCW, here. How's it going, Jay?
What's up, brother?
What's up, Jay? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, my man?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, here's my question I need advice on. I got a cat, new cat, and she's she's still figuring out her surroundings. So anybody that has cats, how do they stop them from figuring out said surroundings, if you catch my drift?
So you want them in certain areas only?
Mm-hmm. Preferably her litter box.
Oh, going to the bathroom, you mean?
Yes, preferably her litter box.
well, what I do is whenever I get a new cat is I'll set up where I want the litter box, and then literally I just drop the cat in the litter box.
Okay, so keep bringing her in the litter box when she goes outside, because we've had to throw a couple of pairs of clothes away because she tends to find them and so you catch. I don't want to say throw her too much. She's an adorable cat. Somebody left her behind when they moved, or they throw her out, and she's like wonderful cat. But yeah, we don't like cat pee. Don't smell too good.
So the other thing is, she could be going through trauma still from being abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like she might just be acting out from the trauma. So like being abandoned is rough for cats. What I would do is I would. Do you have other cats?
No, just her.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about the having her own litter box. But I think just be patient with her. And
my wife put up a comment, which would probably help Jay.
Okay, what do we got there?
Okay, let's see. You show her.
You should say
show her or crate her with the litter box, and then each day make the area she can be in greater. Oh,
okay.
That is really good. So it's an expanding world she gets.
I also like that a lot. I do. That's great. That's a great one. Thank you, Mrs. Joe. That's really actually I like that idea tremendously.
And Caleb says, I put the box in the basement. That's my advice.
If I had a basement, I would absolutely do that.
Not everyone has a basement. Like you got an apartment. Like
yeah, we got a pretty small apartment. So we've kept it in the same place since we brought her in. So that part we try not to move it around because consistency is key. I've known that part. So it's I like the advice I've been getting. We'll use that. What you guys said and what Mrs. Joe said, we'll go with that one. That's real good.
Joe, I like that.
Mrs. Joe. I don't know. Mrs. Joe sounded better than Mrs. GM, but well, Mrs. GM works too.
Yeah, like she can make matches that way. You can stick around if you want, JP.
Yeah, absolutely, love to.
So I think I figured out how to pronounce your name. Jay Pagliaro, right?
You nailed it to a T. Well, there's the Italian version. I've been getting crap from my Italian family saying they say the G silent, but for 45 years I've been saying Pagliaro. So you hit it right on the head, man. You wouldn't believe how many people butcher my last name, and the fact that you got it on your first try, that's very impressive.
So it's
But
not Jay Pagliaro or anything like that.
no, but I mean, to be honest with you, Joe, if you said it like that, I wouldn't, I wouldn't bag on you because the butcherings I've heard. I mean, I've heard Petruzza, I've heard Pagliario, I've heard so many just abominations of my last name, and it's
I mean,
not even close. I don't even try to pronounce it correct people anymore. But yeah, it's Pagliaro. But if we were in Italy, it'd be Pagliaro. But yeah, it's what you said though. It's spot on. It's completely spot on.
You know, it sounds like you're a field goal kicker in the CFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that. I'll take that compliment very much. So, I mean, there's worse professionals to
you're
be.
not there yet, but you're kicking 3-pointers in the
Hey,
CFL. And now for the 3-point attempt is Jay Pagliaro.
At some point, we got to have a talk about Canadian football because I saw and I don't know if it's true, but I saw this clip on Facebook. Apparently, a CFL team won a game by missing a field goal.
Yes, the rule is if you miss it, and it goes through the end zone, you get 1 point.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is. It's just Canadian football is a different breed, man. It's unique. I got to tell you a little story, Joe. Baltimore's first championship since the Colts in 72 or 71 wasn't the Ravens. It was the Baltimore CFL Colts. Actually, they were called the Stallions, but they tried to bring the CFL Colts back, and the NFL said, no, man. Baltimore actually has a Canadian Football League championship.
Yep, I know, because I've heard about it. I listened to Baltimore sports, and they've talked about it a couple times. And surprisingly, like, Baltimore also has, like, indoor soccer league championships, too, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. They have an AHL championship, too, with there was a team called the Bandits.
Now, I was on, sometimes you're just on Facebook Reel and
get lost.
It comes up as the next video. And I saw a football game on ice where they're trying to play football on ice. They're running around it was hilarious.
Was that the infamous ice bowl between Dallas and Green Bay?
No, this was an actual ice rink for hockey to play football on. They weren't hockey gear. They're playing
That's
football.
Interesting. You have to, next time that pops up, can you do me a favor and please send that to me? I got to check this out for myself.
I can't imagine that working out very well.
What else we got in the news there, Joe?
Okay. We got Rhea. I want to send out well wishes to her. She fractured her orbital bone. At least that's what they're calling it. To me, it looks like she's just missing a piece of her skull.
Now, this was apparently where she headbutted Liv Morgan.
Yes, that's where they think it happened. And who knows how long she's going to be out for, so just well wishes. Hope she gets better.
That headbutt spot, like, is it worth it sometimes?
No, not at all.
What do you think, Jay? Is that headbutt spot worth it?
No, man, the risk ain't worth how good it looks. I mean, if she said, it looks like, I saw the picture, it looks like you said a piece of her skull is just gone, and she just got back not that long ago, and if the side effects from it, the piece of skull missing, it did damage to her brain long term. And with CTE, very real, and the brain damage also causes, long term could cause Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, which is an absolute hell on earth. Yeah, it ain't worth it, man. It's not worth it. It looks cool, but the long term effects, what's cool is being able to say you've got a quality of life after this is over.
Yeah, in the end, no one remembers this cool spot.
No, it's forgotten next week.
Doing those fake little punches, it's going to look the same, basically.
Exactly. We forget about it a week later. We have such short-term memories, and we move on to something else.
That's also the thing. When you're doing these like high spots in wrestling, they become normal, and no one ever remembers them.
No, that's what we tell the kids in CZW, the up-and-comers. Look, we advise you not. They get advised to take it easy in WWE since ye who shall not be named, whose name is erased from history. We tell them because back in the day, they do all these crazy things, and you had all these kids that were dying before the age of 40, let alone 50. Look, it's great. These guys are making a healthy living doing it. You don't need to be doing this for $25. I mean, the fans, yeah, well, the fans love us. Do they really? You know, they don't love you that much. You know, your family loves you. Your
Well, you
family's
see
the
these
one that.
guys on the indies who are setting themselves on fire and doing flips onto a table and shit.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Ridiculous.
I was working a show in West Virginia, and there's this kid. He's 16, 15 matches in, and he's got a bright future. And he had this spot where he was on the top rope, and he wanted to have the guy completely just drop him flat on his head on the concrete, like from the top rope. And
Are
I
you
told him, I
kidding?
said, this is the first time I told him. I said, listen, I said, Christian, because I've taken a liking to him. He's like, I said, Christian, if you do that when you come backstage, I'm kicking your ass. And he said, why? I said, that's stupid. That's stupid. That's like, well, look at how the crowd will do it. I said, Christian, there's 37 people here.
Yeah.
Well,
Not just that. You
it
can
might
do
make
other
the internet.
things.
What's that?
You can do other things to get the crowd to react and to risk your
Yeah.
health and well-being.
Yeah, you're going to
That's
get
a
risk a
great
concussion,
response.
break your neck, in front of 37 people. You're not getting paid for it. Who cares,
Yeah, at this point, he's trying to build up his acclaim.
Exactly. And mercifully, he listened. He didn't do it.
That's good. That's good. I'm like, we need people like you to speak into some of these kids' ears.
When I told him I managed a specific person and a specific person once upon a time who holds a pinfall victory over Roman Reigns as of last night, he sort of listened. It's like some of this stuff holds clout, and I'm not trying to kiss my own ass, but you got to get some of these kids, you got to get in their own ear because you got to protect them from themselves. And that's like, they want to make that impact, but it's like, look, you got some of these kids have a ton of talent. Some of them, even if they don't have talent and their future is wrestling in front of 37 people, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being an indie guy that, gets stuck in the indies forever. But it's not worth killing yourself for 25, the old saying, a hot dog and a handshake. It ain't worth killing yourself for, man. It's, you got the rest of your life ahead of you. And even if you do kill yourself or you do something damage, you do some long-term damage to yourself, you break your leg, then you're risking yourself a $25 payday next week and the week thereafter. It ain't worth it to get a YouTube highlight. It's edit.
What else we got in the news there, Joe?
I guess we can talk about WWE had a round of cuts, so 3 people will be leaving the company. Baron Corbin is leaving when his contract expires, and then Tegan Knox.
I don't know. Are they released now and they just got to wait for the 90 days?
Tegan and Indy are, so they have 90 days. But Baron is just having his contract run out, and then he'll be a free agent with no 90-day clause.
You're at Taylor.
But it seems like he was released though.
No, it come out and said that he's not released this, that it is his contract is going to not be renewed.
So they're just not renewing his contract.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see Baron Corbin showing up in AEW or TNA or New Japan? Like, what do you think?
I think he could if he wants to keep wrestling. I don't know what he wants to do, but yeah, like I could see him in New Japan. Or honestly, like even like a one-off in AEW for like every once in a while. I don't know if there's at the moment a spot for him. It's like everything is kind of stacked in AEW at the moment.
Jay, what do you think?
You want my honest opinion? I think Tom would fit perfect or Baron would fit perfect for New Japan. I actually see him going to dabbling in MMA for a little bit because he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. People don't realize this. He's also a Gold Glove boxer, which I think that style would be perfect for New Japan. And I could see him doing some stuff with like Bellator or World Series of Fighting, which would allow him to do the stuff in Japan too.
Yeah, I don't think like a place like AEW would even work for him because he's like the same as Jake Hager / Jack Swagger, right?
Yeah, if they had that stuff. Sorry, Aaron. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he just needs that sort of the writers to kind of build him up, and I don't feel like he would be able to do that on his own.
If they still had that stable back in the day with American Top Team, remember that with Dan Lambert and them, he would have been perfect for that. Yep. Or if they had somebody that's like just a stable full of ass kickers, like a team tap out, so to speak. He would be great for that, but they don't really sort of have that in AEW. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Or if, like, I'll tell you what he'd actually be good for. He'd be good. He'd be great for Jericho's learning tree. He would be great as there's this one that the heavy for that to where he just goes in there and beats the shit out of people. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah.
Okay. He'd be great. He'd be the guy that just goes in there and like he beats the shit out of people for Jericho's learning tree, the heavy. I could see him fitting in there.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's kind of redundant with Big Bill.
That is true.
I mean, to be fair, they have been kind of teasing Big Bill maybe turning because he's been really popular here as of late everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
What about the ladies? Tegan Knox and what's the other one?
Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, Indy Hartwell. Yeah, Indy was making kind of waves. Like she was building up, and then they're just like, nah.
I said Indy will be 90 days is up like February-ish.
Yeah.
I could see her making like a one-off at Grand Slam for AEW. It's in her home country.
Well, yeah, like that would actually be really good to bring her in because they always like to have
Like to give hometown pops and yeah.
So I could see her like not just a one-off, but like signing with AEW. Like they got room for Indy in AEW.
Tegan, I think, would fit in with TNA because they have a really good women's division too.
Yeah.
My only thing is like I don't know if I would want to be someone who's just released from WWE going to TNA and then still having to basically work with WWE's creative.
Well, I don't think everyone's part of that NXT sort of.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be part of my condition. Be like, I don't want to be involved with the WWE working at the moment.
What do you think, Jay?
Well, Tegan, I'm sad for Tegan because I think she legitimately could have been the face of the women's division at one point, but she was one of the most snake-bitten wrestlers I've seen in a long time. With every time she seemed to gain a little bit of momentum, she would be cursed with an injury. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that far back, but her and Rhea Ripley had a hell of a feud going in NXT that I think could have transitioned to the main roster, but then she'd blow her knee. And again, it's no fault of her own. This isn't ballet, or I shouldn't even say ballet because ballet takes a lot. This isn't tic-tac-toe. This isn't a video game. But she would just
touch.
Exactly. She was just kept getting these injuries that were unfortunate would derail her momentum. I could absolutely see, being honest, I could absolutely see both of them in AEW because that women's division, look, there's always room for more women. There's always room for more talented women, and both of these are extremely talented. Indy, I don't know. Like Tegan, I can understand. Is it fair? No. It's not fair that she never got her opportunity. But if you are snake bitten with injuries and they consider you unreliable, and I think it's nonsense. I think it stinks. But that's the way the business operates. There's always somebody there chopping at the bits to take your spot. I don't understand why they never pulled the trigger on Indy in the main roster. It looks like they were starting to give her little nibbles with this deal with Candice, but it's like what we saw with Indy in NXT, it's almost like she got to the main roster and she hit the brick wall, which was weird because she was a Triple H girl. And then when Triple H took over, it's almost like he forgot that's the formula with her on the main roster. So, and what I think sucks is she found out on X. Like that's what I think is garbage. She found out via that's lousy.
So I heard
that's
that
terrible.
But Sean Ross Sapp also came out and said she knew beforehand. I think she was just trying to.
She might have been playing.
She might have been ribbing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, if that is the case, then
I will say, JB, to what you were saying, like how people give up on people who get injured. You think of all people, Triple H wouldn't do that because that man has had so many injuries that's derailed stories, and he's come back and was shoved right into the main event. You think he would give people the benefit of the doubt?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of his most infamous comebacks, he tore his quad in the middle of a match and came back. I mean, that guy has suffered more injuries than I can think of. And, you'd think there'd be a little bit of grace and a little bit of leeway. This business is ruthless. And, it's a eat your own, and Trips is his father-in-law in a lot of ways. That's the sad reality. And we look at Triple H, and everybody loves Triple H, but he is, and I know certain people in your chat will not want to hear this. He is just as cutthroat, and he is just as there's a lot of skeletons in his closet from his history. He has that vitriol to him. He's just a lot less. How shall I put it? He's not. He's a lot less.
He's way more diplomatic.
He's more. Exactly. That's a great way to put it. He's more calculated. He's more diplomatic. You're not going to hear stories about him going to the bathroom on people or anything like that. You're not going to hear total vile stories. He's not going to be a dark side of the ring like Vince was, but he is the same cutthroat that Vince is. He didn't get to the top by stabbing people in the back. There are notorious stories about him, trying to stab people in the throat on his way to the top. He has that animal in him. He really does. And
it makes sense why
we've seen. I mean, he's cut people from WWE that exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a reason why he married Stephanie. She's just as cutthroat.
Oh yeah, she's the look. People look at him now. They love him now. Everybody look at Batty H. I just got one word for you: China. Look what he did to China. Her life was never the same after that.
Yep.
So the other piece of news you didn't have, Joe, which is good transition, because you could see some of these people head on over to ROH, because they might have a TV deal.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't even have that in our new, which makes sense why they put the title on Jericho.
So maybe True TV. Some people saying Tubi. Who knows?
Yeah, there was Fox, there was Tubi, yeah, there was True TV, which is under the WBD umbrella.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing is that they might change the name to AEW Ring of Honor.
I think that makes all the sense in the world. Just like WWE does WWE NXT.
Yeah, so I don't mind that.
Yeah, use that AEW exposure.
Jay, do you have anything on that?
I'm okay with that. I mean, anything to keep ROH alive. I'm all about it. Now, I'm not crazy about them putting the belt on Chris Jericho. To be honest with you, I think they should have kept it on Briscoe. And you should have opened that show up with Jericho and Briscoe. I don't think you need to have Briscoe chase. I think there's enough hardcore fans of Ring of Honor that would watch because of Briscoe. I'm not crazy.
You there, Jay?
That's me, but if people like it, I can understand why. I mean, but
yeah, Jay, you're breaking up.
You're going through a tunnel.
Actually, Taylor.
All right, let's talk.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
We'll move on to our next piece of news.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the option because I got two things here about Private Party winning the titles and Cody and Liv winning the titles, or do we want to talk about the WWE ID program?
I think the WWE ID program is interesting because this thing is you're almost locking them in early and chasing away all these other promotions without actually having to sign them.
Yeah, I feel like there's more information needs to come out about it. Because I will say the one thing I don't like is how in the WWE press release is oh, we're going to ID certain people and teach them the right way to wrestle. I hate that saying.
The right way, meaning the WWE way. What do you think about this, Jay? Oh, we lost him. Yeah, the WWE way. We had Hunter Rainer talking about this, who is he's an indie wrestler and he's part of our circle here, and he was saying that it's kind of just they already had this, it just wasn't named.
It's possible, yeah.
So, if you got WWE scouts in the audience, are they banning other scouts from AEW? Are they banning scouts from TNA and New Japan and all that?
I hope not, because you're screwing over all the other people who aren't in the ID program.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like if like I think there was that guy that he was on AEW TV, and then WWE lured him over, and then he was kind of buried.
There's quite a few that like would show up on like Dark or Dark Elevation that weren't signed to contracts, and WWE would go and take them. Yeah,
But then nothing really happened with them.
yeah, they sort of just shove them into development.
And yeah, they just like that was actually really bad. Like that one guy, he was on quite a few AEW programs, and he was getting featured.
Yeah,
and then he was buried in like it's a risky move.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting any guarantees out of this. It's just, hey, we'll keep an eye on you, and we get first dibs. Basically, is what they're saying.
Yeah, like it's rough because you're limiting your potential to one program, right? One brand.
Yes.
And then if they manage to sign you to an entry level deal, and I don't.
Or worse, what if they pass on you?
Yeah, and then you got to start from square one, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. So we had Private Party win the tag titles.
Yep. They did defeat basically almost 5 years, a little over 5 years, 5 years and like 3 weeks to the day of them beating the Bucks in the first round of the tag team tournament in 2019.
Yeah, that was really cool. The audio last night on the show for a quarter of the first hour was horrible. You couldn't hear any like microphones.
I had that issue too, live in there.
Really?
Like Chris Statlander's promo, I missed the first couple lines of that. There was a couple other backstage interviews that I couldn't hear because the volume was just.
So it was in the arena too.
Yeah.
Weird. So yeah, there's gonna be a number one contender tournament sort of thing.
Yeah, that looks interesting. I'm curious as to where they go. There's so many stories they can do with this. Like, is this where FTR turns heel?
Yeah, they seem to tease that with pushing Private Party. Like,
well, not
that was
just
out of nowhere.
That and the fact that they've been way too buddy with the Outrunners.
Yeah.
So
the Outrunners aren't part of this tournament, though.
No, I think they are. They're in one of the matches.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a perfect spot to turn them heel.
It would be. Our prediction league is going to have some interesting picks to make in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So, I guess that's it. Congratulations to Cody and Liv Morgan, who are now Super Bowl winners with their Super Bowl rings.
At least they don't have to carry those belts around, because that belt is bigger than Liv. So,
and it's almost like, okay, so we have the crown for the King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah,
which you now get a world title match, which is they solved that problem. I will just say though, it is really fitting that Cody gets a ring that looks like MJF's Dynamite Diamond ring. Yeah, they're gonna be carrying this big ring. If you're a heel, you got to use that as a weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
Liv needs to be using this as a weapon now.
Yeah, or she gives it to Dom to use for her. Yeah. All right, let us get into our main event. And we're going to be talking about the fans, and we're going to rip them a new one.
This is the main event of the evening.
I just remembered the joke of the week.
Oh, yeah, we've got to do the joke of the week.
We haven't done it in a while, but I have a really good joke to tell.
Okay.
Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart. Every day, people are mocked because they feel that dad jokes are the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's messed up. I believe that no one should have to fight for their humor. It's okay to dad joke.
It's okay to dad joke.
Oh, it's almost required daily.
Yes. So, so there's this college student, and he's going to see his doctor. He says, "Doctor, it hurts around my buttocks." And the doctor says, "Where around your buttocks?" He's like, "The entrance." And the doctor turns to him and says, "Well, son, as long as you keep calling it the entrance, I think it's going to keep hurting." So, yeah, that's a joke.
God.
Did you have to explain that to your son?
No, he's sitting there. I don't know what he's doing.
All right.
Don't worry about
So,
it.
the fans.
Yeah.
We got Lafayette, Indiana in a building.
What's up, Rob? How you doing?
Now, wrestling fans.
Not
They're
all
very-
wrestling fans.
Hmm?
Not all wrestling fans, mind you.
Well, we kind of have to say everyone, right?
I mean, yes, but no. Like, some of them aren't as bad as certain other ones.
Well, no, like we're just gonna blanket. I think just blanket brush the fans
Okay.
because I think we have good ones, right? But the good ones are not the ones we hear about,
No.
right? we
It's
don't
always-
hear about the good ones. You don't see the
It's always the
screenshots.
loudmouth bad ones that you hear about.
Yeah, we don't see screenshots of, "Hey, is there anything I can do for you guys? I hear you're going through a hard time." Like we don't see screenshots of that.
Yeah.
The like fans are so fickle.
Yes.
Like even us.
Oh, yeah. But I think my thing is like you can be like you want a certain thing, but it's when you start bad mouthing the other product, like that's when it gets very grating, and I'm like, I'm over you. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, like you're talking about tribalism.
Yeah.
So I guess let's go straight into tribalism, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you can't go anywhere on the internet without seeing it. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
or like we posted that Matthew and Nicholas Jackson are going away for a little bit, and the hate comments on that alone. Good, don't let the door hit you. Like just
it's just not necessary
no, like it's just so many people hating on them.
for no reason. Like, I don't care what anybody says. The Bucks do a lot of good for wrestling. Like they single-handedly made Private Party.
But I feel like they're the yin to CM Punk's yang. Like CM Punk saying, "I'm going away for a while." He's gonna get a lot of good, but same sort of thing.
Yeah, you can, yeah. Which boggles my mind because we've had this conversation before. When it comes to the Bucks and Punk, I put way more blame on Punk for starting everything than the Bucks. Did the Bucks have their blame? Absolutely. But to me, Punk deserves so much more.
Yeah, like I feel like he wanted a certain treatment when he came to AEW,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was disappointed that like management didn't treat him certain like, and I think he was upset about that.
Yeah, it's probably possible. We'll never know the full story. So
Yeah. So, what else bothers you about fans?
their talk about ratings.
ratings.
Like, come on, it is 20. Like, I got into it with someone today, like, because someone posted up like the most viewed AEW YouTube videos, and like the top two are Orange Cassidy with like 46 million views, and someone underneath was like, "Oh yeah, 600,000 fans watch it." I'm like, dude, like what? Quit looking through this at such an archaic lens. Like, there's a reason like that the numbers aren't being reported anymore because there's so many people who stream, and that's not an easy number to calculate.
And it's very American of them to say this.
That too, yes.
Because it's all those set like, and they're rounding down. It's usually like 695 or 700. Yeah, those 700,000 people that are watching. That's only in America on the TV.
Yeah. It is very much an American scope of view that people talk about ratings.
Yeah, like we're not talking about international ratings. We're not talking about Canada. We're not talking about the UK.
Yeah,
we're just talking about.
Go look at the UK. AEW is way more viewed than the WWE. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Let's take a look at some of the fans' comments about fans. Mabby says, "I get hate comments all the time on TikTok. I'm used to it."
But that shouldn't be the norm. You shouldn't have to be used to getting hate comments because you're a wrestling fan of a certain person.
Yeah. Tiffany says, "I don't like it when I see fans call wrestlers liars or hateful comments. If someone says they like it there, no matter WWE or AEW, usually based on how much they dislike a company."
Yeah, it is weird because like it does feel like wrestling is the only major sport where you are more loyal to the franchise than to the player. Because like basketball is very much a player driven, like everyone's going to love LeBron no matter what team he plays for.
Yeah.
And like football, like free agency in football, like players move, but you're still going to like that player. You may have a team you root for, but you still love the players over the organization. Whereas with wrestling, it's like, oh, WWE can do no wrong, and AEW just sucks. Like that's basically what you're hearing online right now. It has nothing to do with the wrestlers. They're just naming the company themselves.
Yeah, like for example, like WWE puts on some good shows. AEW puts on some good shows, but like WWE will get a lot of praise for what they did, and the AEW is like, nah, that like even if they did like a really good thing, it sucks.
Yeah, it is.
It's interesting that WWE never really took any. They never really like suffered much setback from the Vince thing.
No, they didn't.
Like it was just like, okay, now he's gone. Okay, now we can really like it. That's all really happened.
And I don't think the product's gotten all that much better, honestly.
No, it's to me, it's I don't think that Triple H is a great booker. I think he's a good booker.
I think it depends. Like he can tell good stories. His problem is it just takes way too long to tell the stories. Yeah. Or he zips through it like it's nothing. Like there's no,
or screws up the payoff like Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah, like and you think it would be different. He like Triple H, he wrestled for 20 years. You'd think of all people, he'd be able to tell a great story.
But I digress because we're not going to talk about how good WWE is or how good.
Yeah, sorry, we got a little bit off topic.
Yeah. So yeah, like the other thing is the fans.
Matt is
and
hold on, can you just put up Matt's last comment?
Booker T is a good booker.
Who's
a good booker? Who's a good Booker T? Shucky ducky quack quack. Yeah, like another thing the fans do that is absolutely horrible is they're entitled. So like they'll see a wrestler in a hotel room or the airport,
Oh yeah,
and they'll
You
force their hand to sign autographs.
yeah. Not an autograph, autographs.
Yeah. Like you see some of these guys with like these cards, these wrestling cards, and these
Or
action
like
figures.
Funko Pops,
Yeah,
or
all these different things. Can you sign these, please? He's got a bucket of things in it, and then they'll just stand there.
they're too nice. I just walk
Yeah.
away. You got to walk away.
One thing some do, and then they get backlash.
Yeah, like it's kind of a lose-lose situation because they'll be like, "Oh, you don't care about the fans." No, it's not that. You just don't like. They've had a long day. Leave them alone.
I think one per customer is a good.
I
Like
think
if you're gonna stop, all right, I'll sign one.
if I was
I'll
ever
write one.
famous, I'd sign one, but I'm personalizing it so they can't resell it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is people are in it for profit,
Hmm.
and it's just a scummy, slimy sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on that.
And like you get these wrestling fans who find out where people live.
Yeah, or it's like that incident with Mandy Rose, people breaking into her house, and
Was it
like,
Mandy Rose or was it
or was it Sonia? I think
Yeah.
it may have been both of them.
It
But
was
yeah,
Sonya.
like having to hide in your own house because people think they're entitled to know you and come in and get to meet you. Like, do better.
Tiffany says Soraya's in a weird spot in AEW. Most don't understand why she won't leave. How do they know she doesn't like her spot? Exactly.
Well, I mean, like
Like
with Saraya,
everyone. Yeah.
we know what she was doing in WWE. WWE wouldn't clear her to wrestle.
Yeah.
AEW does, but on a limited basis. So
So she can't wrestle weekly.
she probably shouldn't wrestle weekly either, taking all those bumps with her
Yeah.
neck like that. So
Yeah, and then you get the weird things. Yeah, like Sonya and Alexa Bliss had someone that was stalking her as well.
yeah, we touched on this, like our stalking or like people pretending to be wrestlers.
Yeah, that was separate. There was someone who was actually stalking Liv and her husband.
Yeah, and
Threatening her husband.
There's no need for that. Like, just be nice. Like, be a human. That's all you got to be.
And that is uncalled for. That's like the worst fan you can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you get the fans who jump the railing.
Oh, have you seen those videos? Like, I've seen house shows where people jump the railings and Triple H and like Booker T just go to town on the guy. Like,
I think a really good one was the Hall of Fame when the guy attacked Bret Hart.
yeah, like you're paying all that money to go show honor and respect to these people, and your response is, "Oh, let me go tackle him on stage."
And you know what happened to them? Scott Dawson and I don't even remember the name. FTR.
Cash. Yeah,
Dax and
FTR.
Cash. I don't even remember what they were. Scott Dawson and. Do you remember what their old names were? Scott Dawson.
Nope, I sure don't.
I remember Scott Dawson. That's the only thing I remember.
I think it
But
was.
yeah,
No, I can't remember it all to save my life.
Scott Dawson was Cash. No, it was Dax.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was Dax. I don't remember. But all I know is because obviously they idolize Brett, so
Yeah, they beat them. I'm like, this guy took some beats, like, and we're happy to do it. A big smile.
Yeah, it's like, we'll oblige, no problem.
Don't worry, bro, we got this. Oh yeah, that's very similar in hockey. If a guy jumps on the ice, like they'll just goon him.
Why are you jumping on the ice in ice? I've never seen that. Like,
Yeah,
like in football, I've seen guys get blasted. Like they're running and someone just hits them on the side, and you just see their legs go up in the air.
Do you remember the woman who used to, with the big boobs, who used to run on the field to kiss the pitcher?
No, I don't remember that at all.
There was this like she had enormous boobs, and for whatever reason, they would let her run onto the field, like no one's tackling her or anything. She runs on the field, she kisses the pitcher, and then they let her leave.
That sounds like some sexual assault right there, sir.
This is all just boom, boom. Like they're huge, like bigger than Dolly.
Oh gosh.
Not our Dolly, but Dolly Parton, the real.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. The fans like. Did anyone jump the railing last night?
No jumping the railing.
Yeah, we had it happen in Vancouver.
I mean, the latest thing that I thought of, and while we're on it, is baseball is the World Series. Like Mookie Betts reaches in to grab a foul ball, and there's two guys that are literally holding down his arm to grab the ball out of his freaking hand. And it turns out they get banned from Yankee Stadium for the rest of the World Series, and they paid good money for their tickets. They lose their tickets.
I think you get banned for life.
Oh, they absolutely should be.
Yeah. You're interfering with the game, banned for life.
Yeah, absolutely. From every single ballpark, you should never be allowed to buy again.
Well, yes, just this picture.
Look,
all ticket master. Yeah.
We have facial
I don't know how you can enforce it, though.
Facial recognition. It's
Yeah.
so cheap to do nowadays.
But, yeah, fans. So we covered tribalism.
Toxicity.
Well, the thing of toxic is just this, this right to say shit to wrestlers online.
Yeah, like I don't even know where to start with that. Like it's just like
in no other thing. Are you messaging Ryan Reynolds talking shit to him about his movie?
No, not at all. Yeah, because I know you asked earlier, is the wrestling fan base the worst when it comes to like tribalism and toxicity?
For sure.
And because we also dabble in other, like Marvel versus DC, I don't think is nearly as bad as AEW versus or WWE versus the world. I think Ravens very well. I'm Ravens. Sorry, I'm watching the game. I think wrestling may have the worst fan base in all of entertainment.
Yeah, because I think it's like, and I think, and I was just thinking about it this morning, that the Yes movement helped that.
Yeah.
When they pushed Bryan Danielson to that main event spot, it gave them power that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think, and that sucks because if done right, like that's exactly what should happen. Like look with Kofi a couple years later, that was very much a fan wanted thing, but it's just fans take it too far is the problem.
Yeah, and like just like everyone with their dirty old opinion, not everyone's opinion should be said.
Like it's that age old quote that Mike Tyson said. The internet has like made you way too comfortable to disrespect someone to where you won't get punched in the face. Something of that effect.
Yeah. It's like you generally you're gonna get a punch in the face for saying these things, but you're hiding behind your keyboard.
Yep.
You wouldn't say this in person.
Oh, absolutely. Good Lord, no. Could you imagine saying half the stuff people said to like Baron Corbin, who is a Gold Glove boxer? Like, he'd knock you out in a heartbeat, and I'd laugh at you for being an ignorant guy like that. So,
The funny thing is, though, is that all these people saying shit, but then when they're in front of the wrestler, they're on their best behavior.
Yeah, I think what Tiffany says is the worst. If you're giving wrestlers death threats, you're like the lowest of the low. Like if you're setting death threats to wrestlers or threatening their family because you don't like their decision to stay in AEW, like grow up, go get a life, go touch some grass, go be.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Matt B, is that when you are posting political things, you're gonna get comments. That's the thing. People are taking sides, and if you're not on their side, that's how it's gonna go. So as long as you're posting political things, you're gonna get comments like that.
But yeah, I think I'm done ranting on fans. You have anything left to say?
Yeah, that's another thing is politics.
Yeah,
Like I think like wrestling and politics need to be separated.
Yeah, like I go to my entertainment, like to wrestling, to Marvel, now I know Marvel and DC are more rooted in politics, but I go there to get away from all the craziness of my real life.
Yeah.
Not to constantly be reminded of it.
Now, you were confronted with the BBC.
Yeah, they actually wanted to. I was standing in line to go into the Leocore Center last night, and some lady from BBC America wanted to interview me about the election. I didn't do it because, like I said, I was walking into the building. So
and you had our shirt on, so
yeah, dodged that bullet.
It's like you're like, oh, these don't represent my shirt. Yeah, but that's the thing is that politics and wrestling have become too close for my liking.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's even with football. Like Joey or Nick, one of the Bosa brothers who plays for San Francisco, like all he did was he had on a MAGA hat, and all he did was hop in an interview and say, "Go vote." And people are losing their minds because they want him suspended because he was wearing a Trump hat. Like, guys, he's allowed to have
here's
like
the
it or
thing with
not.
that is your when you have the Trump hat and you're saying go vote, you're saying go vote for this guy.
I mean, if that's how you take it, yeah. I personally I'm going to vote one way.
Say go vote. That's a great message. Go vote.
You should vote. It's your right.
But I don't like the we don't like politics and talking about politics here at AFW Network.
Yeah, we prefer not to.
Yeah, because if you want to cause fights, the first thing you do is
you want to lose friendships for a little while.
Yeah, you talk about politics. It's one of those things that I don't want to know about Jericho's what he supports politically, right? That's part of the fun.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not going to Jericho for political opinions. I'm going for him to be entertained.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah, let our entertainers be our entertainers, and let the politicians be our politicians.
Yep, basically
that's how I view it.
Until Trump crossed
over. Keep them separate.
But then Trump crossed over and kind of ruined that for us.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you got Hulk Hogan supporting Donald Trump.
I mean, and honestly, Donald Trump isn't the first person. You had Jesse the Body Ventura, who was the governor of Minnesota. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ronald Reagan was an actor before. Ronald Reagan was really the first one to do it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, governor of California.
Now, I know he couldn't be president, but would you vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger if he was eligible?
I mean, to be fair, he was governor of California, so I didn't really pay attention to his politics, so I don't know.
It's I'm running the country.
I did hear a rumor he wanted to change the Constitution so he could. But
I don't, as a Canadian, I don't mind that because I can be president. President Canada, that's got a good ring to
Just,
it, right?
just go be. What's Trudeau's title?
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Just go be Prime Minister.
Eh.
It's not as fun to be in charge of Canada as the United States, huh?
No, you know what? I don't want to be in charge of America because you know what? That ages you.
Yeah, I've said this before. Like, the president of the United States is the most thankless job I could think of.
Yeah, unless you do it like Trump.
Not even then, like, you're never going to have a great opinion of the whole country's. Half the country's going to hate you, half the country's going to love you.
Yeah, like pineapple pizza.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. The fans, to me, the fans are the worst thing about professional wrestling.
Oh, far and away.
But that being said, I think we have a really cool, positive community that, like.
Yeah, I mean, we try to foster a great community around here.
Yeah.
But as you grow, like you said, you expected us to be at 10,000 people by Christmas, and here we are at what, like 11,000 right now?
Yeah, we're 11,3. Yeah. And like I'm expecting to be now closer to 13 by Christmas now.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's a saying we have in the military, like whenever you get a group of people together, there's always going to be that 10%. And that's just the worst of the worst people. You're always going to have it regardless, because just the rule of law. Those numbers, you're always going to get people who are just horrible, who are just want to be the worst of the worst. Well,
the cool thing is if your admins are good people, they're still going to steer the ship right.
Yes.
And we're saying a positive message on the AFW network, and we're promoting suicide awareness, and
that's the shirt that I wore to AEW last night. I wore our Just Keep Fighting shirt last night.
Yeah, it's a good positive message, and I think overall we're a positive sort of community, and like sometimes people come in and they cause a bit of trouble, but we get it back on track.
Yep.
And that's what it is. It's just like, okay, we weed out the people that are causing trouble, and we get back on track and keep doing the positive stuff that we're doing. Like, if you're watching us, and you have something that's on your mind, like feel free to tell us what it is that something you're struggling with, and like we're actually here for you. We're not just here to entertain you. We're actually here for you.
We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk when people need help.
Yeah, exactly. And in the past, and I'm sure we'll do it again, we'll take up a collection and financially support someone for something they're struggling with. Like,
yep.
Like I've gone to everyone's inbox and listen, this is going on with so-and-so. Can you afford $10? And like everyone giving $10 adds up quick.
Yep.
Get 10 people as $100, get 20 people. It's like, and then there's that someone's need is met.
Yep.
So, I think like it's cool that we talked about the negative, like, but there's positive.
Oh yeah, I feel like we got to end with the positive. We don't want to leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to add?
Just that we love all you guys. Thanks for supporting us. Keep doing good things. And for all of my American people, Tuesday's election day. Go vote. That's what you're supposed to do. It is your God-given duty to go vote. You don't get to complain if you don't vote.
All right. On behalf of Commissioner Joe, on behalf of myself, Canada After Dry, like I said, if you're down, it's okay to be down, but it's not okay to stay down. So whatever you got to do to get out of that spot you're in, that depression you're in, Maybe it's seeing a doctor. Maybe it's getting on different medications. Maybe it's reaching out to your pastor or your counselor or your church or whoever it is, that maybe your AA meeting. Maybe it's reaching out to someone from your community. Maybe it's reaching out to us. We will help pick you up, dust you off, put one foot in front of the other, raise your fist in the air, put the devil in a sharpshooter, and just keep fighting. Now, where the hell's that outro? There it is.
This has been an effing worldwide media production. You can find us on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and others.
He's out there fishing with his
Head
girlfriend.
over to our YouTube channel
Me and
at
Joe here doing the show.
youtube.com/effing wrestling. And while you're
we
there,
don't know what
click
the hell
like
we're
and
doing.
subscribe.
JFB's all like, la, la, la,
Want some
la, la.
swag? Head to our
I'm
store
fishing.
at prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can find all these links and much more at our awesome website, effingwrestling.com. As the JFB always says, you can book it.
Gosh golly, I miss JFB.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same. That's
Come
dirty.
back to us next week, JFB.
That dirty rotten son of a bitch.
Oh.